Hi there, and welcome to the Cotswold Explorer. I'm Robin Shapra. And Ross and I are walking the Cotswold Way in aid of sepsis research. Hi there everyone. This is the start of episode 8 out of 10 episodes of our Cotswold Way walk in aid of sepsis research feat. And I couldn't resist introducing you to an unexpected visitor to my village this week. He and I were doing a little bit of work together for the BBC, and so, while I had him to hand, I asked him to have a word with us. Please welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Downton Abbey's most roguish aristocrat, Lord Hepworth, actually, of course, the ever-distinguished Nigel Havers. Nigel, it's really lovely to see you.
Lovely to see you.
And welcome to Downton Village,
yes,
which is
Badminton. I know Badminton because of the garden centre.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, that's fantastic.
That's my local garden. Well, not local. I drive there because it's the best garden centre I know.
Yes. Well,
and so I come in here sometimes to have a pint.
Oh, okay.
So I did know about it, though I never filmed here.
No, right.
Because most of my scenes were done in a bedroom.
Yes, I'm sure they were. Well, in that case, I can say welcome back at least,
yes,
but not in that guise.
Not in that guise, no.
Look, it's really kind of you to offer a little bit of support here. As you know, we're walking the Cotswold Way in order to raise.
And
a
I
bit of money
understand you had
sepsis.
and I know it's a nasty thing to have.
It's a very
unpleasant.
unpleasant
And I know
business.
some friends who've had it, it's one that did not survive.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah,
and
I'm sorry to hear that.
The more research can be done, the better. So I'm in favour of everything you're doing, and well done for doing it.
Well, you're very kind, and I think that is the point. That I'm really lucky because so many people lose their legs.
Yeah, I know.
And they die in droves. I mean, tens of thousands a year of people die of sepsis, and we're not quite sure why. And why is it that somebody like me doesn't? And that's
we don't
a really
know that,
interesting thing.
But you can go in hospital and then you can catch sepsis.
Yeah.
And you're not in hospital for that. You're something else.
Something completely different. And it seems to be rife.
Yeah.
So that's why we're doing it.
Well done.
Partly because
how many miles is it?
It's 105 miles.
Fantastic. And you're walking it?
Nigel, I'm doing it in small pieces.
Oh, okay.
I'm an old man and I know my limitations.
No, absolutely.
And it's up and down like a yo-yo, this thing.
Because I did the Channel Tunnel for charity.
Did you really?
Yes, before it opened, literally a week before. I walked the tunnel, which is 38 miles or something.
You did that in one go.
Did that in one afternoon.
It's good for you. Well, I have friends who've done this sort of thing, and they all tell me they walk 20 miles a day, and I'm not even going to try and compete with that. So we do it twice a week, and we walk 7 or 8 miles. It's very steep and and wonderful fun and brilliantly beautiful. Yeah. We've just got to what's called the Devil's Chimney, which has views over the Severn Estuary all the way around past all the cathedrals to Birmingham. It's just astonishing. Yeah. Anyway, I'm grateful to you for your voice of support.
Not at all. I wish you every success.
Well, thank you very much indeed. It's nice to see you.
I see you. God bless.
Take care.
Take care.
With Nigel's encouragement ringing in our ears, and excited that the new Downton Abbey film is released next month, we set off on our next stage. Keep an eye on this channel, as soon after this walk is over, in order to celebrate the final fling of Downton Abbey, the most successful television programme in history, we will be releasing a compilation of all the many Downton-related things we've filmed over the years. It staggers me how long it's been. We're starting our walk today in the village of Hillesley, where the pub we were so grateful for last week is based, but not exactly on the Cotswold Way. The fact is that, however you're managing the walk, should you be deciding to follow in our footsteps, there will be moments where the end of a section will need a little flexibility. The way we're doing it, we need a place to leave a car, and this village was the closest place at the appropriate moment. You may well find yourselves, for reasons of accommodation, bus stops, maybe even convenient friends with a bed for the night, wandering off track. Actually, I think our advice is to feel pretty free to do that. There are many staggeringly beautiful places just off the route that, if you're younger and fitter than I am, you'd be well advised to visit. But it's probably best not to just take off in the general direction you know you want to go, down some footpath with no obvious connections to the Cotswold Way. England is a small country, and you won't get irretrievably lost, but you might find yourself, with your dog on a lead of course, having to decide whether to face a herd of Highland cattle with calves in tow, or to take to a vertical slope where your skiing training will become unexpectedly useful. We chose the latter, and you would have been very impressed with my side-slipping skills. Basically, ladies and gentlemen, stick to the route as far as possible. We're on the fringes of the vast Badminton estate, the fantastic house and property belonging to the Duke and Duchess of Beaufort, who were kind enough to allow us access to their grounds to film a couple of years ago. These are some clips of that fantastic house, in which Queen Mary took refuge during the war, much to the distress of the Duchess of the time. Such a beautiful place, perhaps the greatest of all the Cotswold estates, including the royal estates in the area, and influential to the lives of the people around here since time immemorial. And so, while Ross shows you incredible images of the Cotswold Way, perhaps one of the most beautiful long walking trails in the UK, I'm going to tell you why it is that a slightly frail 77-year-old ex-wine merchant decided to walk this trail in aid of research into this sepsis thing. Something which no one really understands, but which kills, as far as we know, at least 50,000 people every year in the UK alone, and could be coming for any of you at any time. In November, 20-odd months ago, having just finished recording a dub for an episode of the Cotswold Explorer channel, I lay down for a rest, telling my wife I felt just a little groggy. Half an hour later, my son, who lives nearby, dropped in to say hello. Hearing I wasn't well, he came upstairs to see me, and as he entered the room, I sat up, smiling, to greet him. Within seconds, I degenerated into a gibbering, trembling, sweating old man, incapable of stringing two words together. I had gone from being groggy to desperate in 40 seconds. Level-headed, as always, dear Jake, my son started making calls. 111 were great. They did ask to speak to me, but my grunts and chattering teeth just confirmed my son's description, and they immediately arranged an ambulance. So, my son was the first person that day to save my life. The ambulance was there quickly. They started taking vital signs. Temperature 41.5 degrees. What? Blood pressure? No reading. Tried a urine sample. Couldn't give one. Even in my befuddled state, I realized I hadn't peed for a long while. That was the first time I heard the word sepsis. It meant nothing to me, really. I thought we used to call it septicemia. They learned to deal with that in the First World War. I had no idea how incredibly lucky I was that my ambulance team recognised the symptoms so quickly. Blue lights and sirens for 30 minutes to the Churchill Hospital, part of the Oxford University Hospital Trust. The ambulance crew were the second people that day to save my life. 2.5 weeks on fluids, intravenous antibiotics, and some really weird biopsies, and they had the roaring sepsis under control and had identified the initial infection, an infected gallbladder. Those doctors and nurses saved my life. Okay, so I had ignored an uncomfortable pain in my back for a few months. Part of it was during COVID, and anyway, who the hell bothers the doctor with a back pain? I really wish I had. I was eventually sent home to await a recall for a gallbladder removal op. Usually these days that's a keyhole surgery thing. In and out in a day. Not quite. In a couple of weeks I was called back to the hospital. I was told by my terrific surgeon that it wasn't going to be easy. I'd left the blasted thing so long it was going to be tricky to remove. Open surgery was likely, but he would see if keyhole was possible first. I wasn't even nervous. I was in the very best of hands. A few hours later, I sent a text message to my wife. I've still got it. It's all gone well, it says. Should be home by Friday. It was just a few days before Christmas. Phew, it's all over. Not quite. Less than an hour later, I went once again into septic shock. I had developed an internal bile leak, and my immune system had decided that its best bet was to kill me. That, ladies and gentlemen, is what sepsis is. It's your own immune system deciding that in order to fight a small infection anywhere at all in your body, it should shut down all your vital organs. Your heart, your liver, your lungs, your kidneys, everything. That's what sepsis does for its living. It comprehensively removes yours. At this stage, my wife gets a call to say I probably won't make it through the night, and in the unlikely event that I did, I would almost certainly be on dialysis for the rest of my very limited life. But what neither she nor either of my children who had gathered to support her that night knew was that the man she was talking to was the next person in this saga to save my life. By an utterly extraordinary stroke of good fortune, the surgeon on duty in the operating theatre in the middle of that dark night was a man called Mr. Michael Silver, and he is one of the greatest pancreatic surgeons in the entire world. It would be quite possible to argue that there are only a handful of people on this planet who could have pulled me through, and he is one of them. I have absolutely no idea why I deserve such a gift. But now, of course, come the legions on whom we rely when we're vulnerable. Lots and lots of doctors, nurses and others. After just shy of a fortnight in intensive care, unconscious and kept alive with every machine imaginable, with great effort I opened my eyes to find myself being washed. Utterly and completely immobile, except for my heavy eyelids, I saw someone cleaning me with an obvious, indeed palpable respect for my vulnerability, and instantly I felt a sense of peace. I knew I would survive, and that I was in the very best of hands. He saved my life. My wife. Shut up. Stop it. My wife, with her constant love and determination that I should survive to return to her side, she saved my life. The reassuring presence of my daughter, who pinned pictures of my entire family on the wall opposite my bed to remind me why life is so valuable, and tried on an hourly basis to reassure me that the terrifying hallucinations and fantasies brought on by the drugs I was taking weren't real. I never believed her, by the way. She saved my life. The incredible nursing care, people who put up with things most of us would simply refuse to contemplate, wonderful people who encourage an old man like me to get going again, they saved my life. And I was able, after a few weeks, to go home, dragging all kinds of pipes and things from my anatomy, and only capable of walking 5 paces without a walking frame, and only 10 with one. I came home to the embrace of my family and started my recovery. I had gone from a bit groggy to the very edge of oblivion and back in a matter of a few weeks. That, ladies and gentlemen, was just 18 months ago, And now we're reaching the end of a 105-mile walk over some of the steepest terrain southern England has to offer. Somewhere or other, there is a miracle in this story, and it slightly spooks me out. I think perhaps that miracle lies with you. Your response to our efforts has been nothing short of miraculous. We had expected to make a few £100 towards the invaluable work done by Sepsis Research Feet, and we've already reached just shy of 5,000. It's very hard to express how grateful we are. Please, if you haven't yet done so, drop a couple of pounds or dollars into the Just Giving account in the description of this video. But most of all, please continue to watch our films and write the lovely messages which make Ross and me so happy to continue our travels in the Cotswolds. While I've been rabbiting on, we've walked round the edge of the Badminton estate, past the Somerset Monument. Lord Robert Edward Somerset was a British soldier who fought during the Peninsular War in Spain during the Napoleonic Wars, and from 1834 to 1837 was MP for Cirencester. The memorial was built by staff from the nearby Badminton House estate, which could well explain why it's not surviving as well as some other local monuments. The gates are closed and signs are up warning of falling masonry. Then on through the extraordinary estate belonging to Sir Richard Dyson, called Doddington Park. This house, which we only glimpsed from the air, was built for Christopher Codrington. The Codrington family made their fortune from sugar plantations in the Caribbean, so were inevitably substantial owners of slaves. It remained in the family until 1980, and it's now owned by Dyson, who many of you will know as an inventor and super businessman who brought us the Dyson vacuum cleaner. We had a delicious picnic lunch just where the River Frome springs from the ground, flowing eventually into the River Avon, and then climbed the last of today's slopes to the village of Tormarton, where we know we'll be able to hear the traffic from the M4 motorway. Those of you who have no idea of the layout of our English countryside and have never heard of the M4 corridor will just have to believe me when I say that this is a very important landmark. We are homing in on our destination, and we're very much looking forward to seeing the stunning town of Bath, world famous and rightly so, on Saturday the 13th of September, World Sepsis Awareness Day. We've come to the end of episode 8, astonishingly, of our walk down the Cotswold Way on behalf of Sepsis Research Feet. It's another beautiful day. We've come to the village of Tormarton. Did you say Tormarton?
Tormarton. Yeah.
Tormarton.
Tormarton. There on the side.
Okay. There you are. It's Tormarton. I'm sorry, but my mind is going addled. You can include this if you like, Ross. It's been a really nice episode, and we realise we're moving quite fast. But most importantly of all, in the distance I can hear the rumbling of the M4, which means we really are close. We've just passed a sign which says that by the Cotswold Way there are roughly 16 miles between here and Bath. Thank you very much for being with us all this way. Please stick with us to the end. Our Just Giving page is doing so well. We're nudging the £5,000 mark now, and we are so pleased with this. I can't tell you how thrilled we are, because we really didn't have that kind of expectation, and it has been your generosity that has allowed us to get that far. We are fantastically grateful. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Remember, we have a subscription channel. It's hosted on Patreon, where you can find all our 9 years worth of stuff ad-free, just for a small subscription every month. We'd love it if you joined us there. And we will be walking into Bath on the 13th of September this year. At midday we will be arriving at the square in front of the Abbey. It's the 13th of September, which is World Sepsis Awareness Day, which is a great coincidence for us, because as it happens, it's the 9th anniversary exactly of the day we set up the Cotswold Explorer YouTube channel. We'd love to see you there. If you happen to be in Bath and you fancy saying hello, please do turn up. It'll be, as I say, at exactly midday. Just the right sort of time for you to think about booking a restaurant table and going and having lunch somewhere in the beautiful city of Bath. What more could you want to do on a Saturday afternoon? Let's hope we'll see you there.